Here's an article from the BBC. This was 6 days ago, which was 26th of June 2026. Man who punched female police officers at Manchester airport jailed. So here he is. Mohammed something something was told his attack on two female officers was cowardly. So a man who punched two female police officers at Manchester airport as they tried to arrest him for headbutting a man in a Starbucks cafe has been jailed for 3.5 years. Mohammed something something, not from Rochdale, was convicted at Liverpool Crown Court last year of assaulting PC Lydia Ward, PC Ellie Cook, and a Starbucks customer at the airport in July 2024. So the aspect of this I wanted to concentrate on was the reaction of one of the female police officers. So the fracas outside Terminal 2, I like fracas, it's a great word, was recorded in footage widely circulated on social media. We're looking at PC Ward. So CCTV footage was later leaked to the media showing events leading up to the arrest including Amaaz punching Ward and Cook to the ground. Ward, who has since been promoted to sergeant, took to the witness stand and told Amaaz, "Take away that I am a police officer. Look at me standing here. What do you see? I'll tell you what you see. You see a female who is 5'2", and at the time of the incident, I weighed no more than 8 stone. You are a male, and you chose to attack me without a second thought. You chose to attack a female. You knocked me to the ground with one punch, with so much force you broke my nose." Cook's statement, read by prosecutor Paul Greeny KC, revealed the trauma of the incident had led her to give up being a firearms officer. Okay, the first thing I take issue with, take away that I am a police officer. Why would you take away the fact that she was a police officer? That's the whole reason that she was there. Taking away that fact is disingenuous. And then she makes it about her being a woman, which is kind of gross. Why would you do that? 5'2", I weighed no more than 8 stone. Doesn't matter. Doesn't make a difference. Is it worse because she's a woman? If it's worse because she's a woman, why was she there in the first place? So this is an interview that the police officer gave. So PC Lydia Ward. This is an interview that she gave to Sky News. It's pretty easy to find on YouTube if you want to. So I'm not going to play the video as such. I've got the transcript over here on the right-hand side. Yeah, like it says here, the video shows violence and an injured police officer in distress. So I'm just going to go through parts of the transcript and what she has to say about this incident. So it starts off with her saying, "Why? I just don't understand why. There was no need to punch me in the face." I mean, it doesn't really matter why. It's because he's a criminal scumbag. That's why he did it. That's all the answer that you really need for that. I mean, if it hadn't been you, it would have been someone else. If it hadn't been this particular police officer, it would have been another police officer. He didn't really care about the fact that you were a woman. It was irrelevant to him because he comes from a culture that devalues women. That's why, because he's a criminal scumbag. Then she says, I felt like it was a targeted assault on myself. Not really. I mean, whatever police officer it was, he'd have punched them in the nose. It's not really about you at all. I don't see why you would be so arrogant as to think it was about yourself. And then we go through a bit of commentary from the journalist. So he asks, "What's the thing that really sticks in your mind about what happened on that day?" So here is one of the wonderful New Britons just about to punch the police officer in the face. And she says, "Just the pain of it. It really, really was painful. That's the main thing that sticks in my mind. And the shock that happened and how frightened I was. That's fair enough. It's a difficult situation. Looking at the video, it kind of spirals out of control very quickly. It looks like they kind of have it under control, and then all of a sudden they don't. So they almost have them restrained, and then it kind of spirals. So that's, shock, frightened. That's fair enough. You're never prepared for that. Even though I know I'm a police officer and I have been in the situations where I felt frightened before, never as much as in that moment. Okay, but you're in the police. Why aren't you prepared for that sort of moment? Are you saying that the police are institutionally incapable of dealing with violent offenders? Are you saying that you're incapable of dealing with violent offenders? Because if that's the case, the police are incompetent, or you personally are incompetent. Which is it? So then she talks a bit about, only a part of the video came out showing what the police did, but not led up to it. Yeah, that was pretty stupid on the part of whoever leaked that video. Obviously, the rest of the video was going to come out. She says it was really frustrating about that really short clip, which is all sort of fair enough. And then she says the online commentary continued even when the full video of what happened to PC Ward was played in court. So, yeah, we can see here, obviously, she's in a lot of distress and she's not actually doing anything in terms of apprehending the victims in this sequence. She's just walking around screaming, and other police officers are having to attend to her. So, not is only she useless in this moment, other police officers have been taken away from the incident and have to deal with her. It just felt like people were, she's useless. She should have done more. Nothing prepares you for being punched in the face. I would suggest that being a police officer, you should be prepared for being punched in the face. I would say that's an occupational hazard. I would say being assaulted by a violent criminal is probably something that's going to happen at some point in your career. And you should kind of be prepared for that. Then she says, also with him holding a mobile phone, so being punched in the face with an object, the shock and fear that you have after that happening to you. I mean, that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, being smacked in the face with a mobile, that can't be very nice. But if that's all it takes to take you out of the fight, you're not physically strong enough to be in that situation. And then she carries on. I felt very upset at the time because I felt like a lot of like. Um, Another reason I haven't sort of played the video is she has that kind of that corporate HR voice that a lot of professional women, like Hannah Spencer from the Greens, she has a very similar accent to her, like she spent too much time teaching children. So I've spared you the corporate HR accent. Just a warning if you do decide to watch the video. I felt very upset at the time because I felt like the videos of me had made these comments come to the forefront of should women be police officers, which was upsetting to me. And it's important that people know that policing isn't about being a ninja warrior and being able to, take people down. And here is the point where I just completely lose all respect for her because being a copper, being a police officer, you have to be physically capable. You have to be able to restrain and detain violent people who aren't behaving logically. That's a basic skill of the job. And if she's saying she can't do that, she's incompetent. And if the police force are keeping her on, the police force are incompetent. I mean, one thing I would say about this interview is that it's clearly not an off the cuff interview. It's clearly been prepared. It's with Sky News, which is a major news organization. She's clearly dressed up for it. She's done her makeup. It's a pre-prepared thing, and she's obviously, I would imagine, been prepared for it in terms of the topics that she's going to talk about. And so the police are comfortable with her saying policing isn't about being a ninja warrior and being able to, take people down. So she's saying that policing isn't about physical capability. And if she's saying it to Sky, then she's saying that on behalf of the entire police force. The police force are happy with this comment. They agree with it. So in Britain, the state has a monopoly on violence. The state has a monopoly on physical force. So if a criminal decides to be violent, the police can legally be violent in order to deal with that criminal. The state, like I say, the state is the only authority that's supposed to be violent. But here she's saying that the state isn't responsible for that sense of physical force. So that's quite a concerning thing. So she carries on, it's about showing empathy towards people in some of the worst days of their life. She sounds like a social worker. She doesn't sound like a police officer. She sounds like she'd be better off as a social worker or a teacher or something like that. There's a place for women in policing in all manner of different roles. And there is some women that, are even better in them sort of situations than some men. I mean, I can see, for example, in cases of domestic violence, if you need someone to talk to the um, to the uh, to the woman in a certain situation, then perhaps a female police officer would be more appropriate there. When you want physical force, I mean, I would say, and I would say that science backs me up here, is that generally men are physically stronger than women. And so, in most circumstances, men are going to be able to handle those situations better. So then the interviewer asks her, was there ever a point where you thought of not going back to policing? I think in some ways, yes, it probably will always have an impact on me that I'll always go to attend as a police officer, have it in the back of my mind, okay, things can escalate, things can get out of control very fast, and you're never actually safe. Right. And I think this comment here, things can escalate, things can get out of control, you're never actually safe. I think this is something that men understand instinctively. So I'd say that all men at some point in their life have been punched in the face. All men at some point in their life have been beaten up. I think men are very aware that when they're having a conversation with another man, if you handle that badly, that can end up in violence if you're not sufficiently respectful of the other person. So, escalation and things getting out of control, that's a view of the world that men just have instinctively, and women who perhaps have never been punched in their face don't get that. So she's learned something, I guess. So that's perhaps a good thing. And finally, she's returned to the job as she still has questions. She says, I want to understand. I would have liked to have understood why he did what he did. And I want him to understand how him doing that impacted my life. Maybe for him to take some responsibility for what he's done, show some remorse and apology. I mean, it's just some people behave badly. Some people come from cultures that devalue women and treat them the way that whatever his name was treated you. And unfortunately, that's just a fact of life. I do have sympathy for the situation she's been in. It's a pretty horrifying video to watch in many ways. If you're a police officer and you're in a situation where violence might happen, you need to be physically capable to deal with that violence. And it seems like she's not. So for me, that raises questions. Thanks for watching.